Welcome to FREMA Audiobooks, where powerful ideas become practical habits, where success begins with mindset, and where ordinary people learn the principles that create extraordinary results. In today's audiobook, we will explore a philosophy that has shaped some of the most successful individuals in the world. Think like a billionaire, but act like you're broke. This mindset is not about pretending to be wealthy or living in scarcity. It is about developing the vision, discipline, and long-term thinking of highly successful people while maintaining the humility, work ethic, and financial awareness of someone who knows every decision matters. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to FREMA Audiobooks. Like this video, share it with someone who wants to build a better future, and leave a comment below about the financial lesson that has impacted your life the most. Now sit back, focus your attention, and let's begin. Part 1. The mindset difference between consumers and builders. Most people spend their lives thinking about money from the perspective of consumption, while highly successful individuals tend to think about money from the perspective of creation. Because average thinking often revolves around what can be bought, displayed, or enjoyed immediately, whereas wealthy thinking focuses on what can be built, invested, improved, and multiplied over long periods of time. This difference may seem small on the surface, but it creates dramatically different outcomes over the years. One mindset seeks instant satisfaction. The other seeks long-term leverage. One asks how much something costs. The other asks what value something creates. And this shift in thinking becomes one of the foundations upon which extraordinary success is eventually built. Many people assume that becoming wealthy starts with earning more money, but in reality, it often begins with learning how to think differently about opportunity, risk, discipline, and delayed gratification. Because income alone rarely creates lasting wealth of spending habits, emotional decision-making, and financial awareness remain unchanged. There are individuals who earn enormous amounts of money and remain financially unstable. There are also individuals with moderate incomes, who steadily build wealth over time through wise decisions and consistent discipline. The difference often comes down to mindset rather than income alone. Financial success is not simply about how much money enters your life. It is also about how effectively you manage, protect, and grow what you already have. One of the defining characteristics of highly successful people is that they understand the difference between appearance and reality. Because many people spend money trying to look successful while truly wealthy, individuals often spend their time and energy becoming successful instead. Society encourages people to display status. It rewards appearances, and it often creates pressure to look more successful than one actually is. Expensive purchases create temporary admiration. Luxury lifestyles create attention. But attention is not wealth. Real wealth often exists quietly. It grows behind the scenes through investments, businesses, skills, and assets that continue producing value long after the excitement of consumption disappears. This is why thinking like a billionaire often means resisting the temptation to impress people unnecessarily. Another important distinction is that successful individuals tend to view money as a tool rather than an emotional reward. Because emotional spending often leads to impulsive decisions, while strategic spending creates opportunities for growth and future freedom. Many people use money to escape stress, gain approval, or create temporary happiness. While there is nothing wrong with enjoying life, problems arise when emotions consistently dictate financial behavior. Wealth builders learn how to separate feelings from decisions. They understand that every dollar can either create future value or disappear permanently. This awareness changes spending habits dramatically because financial choices become more intentional and less emotionally driven. People who achieve extraordinary success often possess an unusual level of patience because they understand that meaningful results rarely happen quickly, and they are willing to invest time, effort, and resources into opportunities that may not produce immediate rewards. Most individuals are attracted to quick wins. They want fast success. They want immediate results. But significant wealth usually grows through years of consistency rather than weeks of excitement. Businesses take time to develop. Investments require patience. Skills require practice. Relationships require trust. This long-term perspective allows successful people to make decisions that prioritize future rewards over present comfort. Another characteristic frequently found among high achievers is an obsession with learning, because they understand that knowledge often creates opportunities long before money appears. They read constantly. They study markets. They learn new skills. And they remain curious about how systems work. While many people spend their free time consuming entertainment exclusively, successful individuals often allocate significant time toward education and personal development. They understand that increasing their value frequently leads to increased opportunities. This commitment to learning becomes a competitive advantage because knowledge compounds in much the same way investments do. One of the biggest financial mistakes people make is increasing their lifestyle every time their income increases. Because this creates a cycle where higher earnings produce little meaningful progress toward long-term freedom. Many individuals receive raises, bonuses, or business growth, and immediately expand spending to match. Larger homes, more expensive vehicles, and additional luxuries quickly consume new income. Wealth builders often take a different approach. They allow investments to grow before dramatically increasing lifestyle expenses. They focus on building assets first. And they understand that financial freedom comes from creating margin rather than maximizing consumption. Thinking like a billionaire also means learning how to evaluate opportunities differently. Because successful people frequently ask whether a decision creates future leverage rather than immediate comfort. Leverage allows effort, money, systems, technology, or people to produce results far beyond what could be achieved individually. This is why successful entrepreneurs focus on systems. Investors focus on compounding. And business owners focus on scalability. They constantly look for ways to multiply results rather than simply exchanging more time for more money. This mindset creates growth because attention shifts from working harder alone to working smarter through strategic thinking. Another powerful lesson is understanding that discipline often matters more than motivation when building wealth. Because financial success depends heavily on consistent decisions repeated over many years, rather than occasional moments of inspiration. Motivation comes and goes. Markets change. Circumstances shift. But disciplined habits create stability. Saving regularly, investing consistently, learning continuously, and making thoughtful decisions produce results that emotional enthusiasm alone can never sustain. The people who build extraordinary outcomes are often not the most motivated individuals. They are the people who continue acting wisely even when excitement disappears. The first step toward thinking like a billionaire, while acting like you're broke, is realizing that wealth begins in the mind long before it appears in a bank account. Because every financial decision reflects deeper beliefs about discipline, value, patience, opportunity, and long-term thinking. The way you manage small amounts of money often reveals how you would manage larger amounts. The habits you build today shape the opportunities available tomorrow. And the mindset you develop now becomes the foundation upon which future success is eventually constructed. This is where real wealth begins, not with money itself, but with the way you think about it. Part 2. Living below your means while thinking beyond your limits. One of the most overlooked principles of wealth creation is the ability to live below your means even as your income grows. Because many people mistakenly believe that earning more money automatically solves financial problems when in reality, increased income often creates increased spending if discipline and self-control do not grow alongside earnings. The moment many individuals start making more money, they begin upgrading every aspect of their lifestyle. Their expenses rise, their expectations rise, and their financial pressure often rises as well. But people who build lasting wealth understand that income alone does not create freedom. What creates freedom is the gap between what you earn and what you spend. The larger that gap becomes, the greater your ability to invest, grow, and create opportunities for the future. Thinking like a billionaire means understanding that every dollar has a job, because money can either be consumed today or positioned to create greater value tomorrow. And highly successful individuals constantly think about where their resources are going and what return those resources might generate over time. Average consumers often ask what they can buy. Builders ask what they can own. Consumers spend money to impress others. Builders invest money to improve their future. This difference compounds dramatically over years. Small investments become large investments. Skills become opportunities. And disciplined decisions become financial independence. Wealth is often less about dramatic actions and more about repeated intelligent choices made consistently over long periods of time. Another characteristic shared by many successful people is that they avoid making financial decisions based entirely on emotion, because emotional spending is one of the fastest ways to destroy long-term financial progress, while rational and strategic thinking creates stability even during uncertain economic conditions. Many purchases are not driven by need, but by emotion. Stress encourages spending. Boredom encourages spending. Comparison encourages spending. And insecurity often encourages spending as well. But financially disciplined individuals learn how to separate temporary emotions from permanent decisions. They understand that emotional satisfaction is temporary, while financial consequences can last for years. This awareness allows them to remain patient and intentional even when temptation appears constantly. People who build wealth also understand the importance of delayed gratification, because they recognize that sacrificing small pleasures today often creates significantly greater opportunities tomorrow. And this willingness to postpone immediate rewards becomes one of the strongest predictors of long-term financial success. Most people want rewards now. They want results now. And they want comfort now. But meaningful success often belongs to those who can wait. Investors wait. Entrepreneurs wait. Builders wait. They understand that growth takes time. They understand that compounding requires patience. And they are willing to endure temporary discomfort in exchange for future freedom. This mindset creates tremendous advantages because it allows individuals to make decisions based on long-term vision rather than short-term emotion. Another lesson from highly successful individuals is that they focus on increasing value rather than simply increasing income, because income is often a reflection of the value a person creates, solves, or contributes within a market, industry, or organization over time. Instead of constantly asking how to make more money immediately, they ask how to become more valuable. They improve skills. They expand knowledge. They strengthen communication. They develop expertise. And as their value grows, opportunities often grow as well. This approach creates sustainable success because it focuses on becoming the kind of person capable of generating greater results, rather than constantly chasing money without improving capability. Many people believe wealthy individuals think about luxury constantly, but in reality, many successful people spend far more time thinking about efficiency, productivity, systems, and opportunities than they do thinking about expensive possessions or status symbols. They understand that time is often more valuable than money. Money can be replaced. Time cannot. This is why highly successful people often become protective of their schedules, attention, and energy. They eliminate distractions. They prioritize important work. And they focus on activities that produce meaningful long-term outcomes. This perspective creates leverage because it shifts attention away from consumption and toward creation. Another important principle is learning how to ignore social pressure. Because one of the fastest ways to destroy financial progress is constantly trying to keep up with the lifestyles, appearances, and spending habits of other people who may be operating under completely different circumstances. Comparison is expensive. It encourages unnecessary purchases. It encourages lifestyle inflation. And it creates dissatisfaction even when progress is being made. Wealth builders focus on their own path. They understand that financial success is not a competition. It is a process. They make decisions based on goals rather than appearances. And this independence allows them to stay focused while others become distracted by status and external validation. Thinking beyond your current limits also requires developing a vision that extends further into the future than most people are willing to imagine. Because extraordinary results often begin as ideas long before they become reality. And people who achieve remarkable success frequently possess the ability to think years ahead while still taking action today. They do not limit their ambitions to current circumstances. They understand that today's reality does not necessarily define tomorrow's possibilities. This mindset encourages innovation. It encourages persistence. And it creates resilience because setbacks become temporary obstacles rather than permanent barriers. Vision allows people to continue moving forward, even when immediate results are not visible. Yet, another difference between consumers and builders is that builders view problems differently. Because where most people see obstacles, successful individuals often see opportunities waiting to be solved, improved, or transformed into something valuable. Every business exists because someone solved a problem. Every innovation exists because someone recognized a need. And every major opportunity usually begins as a challenge that others overlook or avoid. This mindset changes how people approach difficulty. Instead of asking why something is happening, they ask what can be learned, improved, or created from the situation. This perspective transforms setbacks into stepping stones for future success. Ultimately, acting like you're broke while thinking like a billionaire is about maintaining humility while expanding your vision. Because humility protects you from waste, arrogance, and poor decisions while vision pushes you toward growth, opportunity, and long-term achievement. The combination is powerful. Humility keeps your feet on the ground. Vision keeps your eyes on the horizon. And together they create a mindset capable of building wealth, creating freedom, and achieving meaningful success without becoming trapped by ego, status, or short-term gratification along the way. Part 3. Building wealth through discipline. Not luck. One of the biggest misconceptions about wealth is the belief that successful people simply got lucky. Because while luck may create occasional opportunities, long-term financial success is usually built on habits, discipline, decision-making, and persistence that most people never see behind the scenes. People often notice the result, but ignore the years of preparation that came before it. They see the successful business, but not the failures that preceded it. They see the wealth, but not the sacrifices that helped create it. They see the freedom, but not the discipline that made that freedom possible. Wealth is rarely the product of a single breakthrough. More often, it is the result of thousands of smart decisions repeated consistently over many years. This understanding changes the way you approach success because it shifts your focus away from luck and toward responsibility. Another lesson wealthy individuals understand is that financial freedom is created through ownership. Because people who own assets, businesses, intellectual property, investments, or systems that generate value often create Opportunities for income that continue long after the initial work has been completed. Many people spend their entire lives exchanging time for money. While there is nothing wrong with earning an income through work, true wealth often begins when income is no longer tied exclusively to hours worked. This is why successful people frequently focus on building assets. Assets work even when you are resting. Assets continue producing value. And assets create leverage that allows wealth to grow beyond the limits of individual effort alone. Understanding the difference between earning income and building assets is one of the most important financial lessons a person can learn. Highly successful people also tend to become students of risk rather than avoiding it completely. Because every meaningful opportunity involves uncertainty. And those who learn how to evaluate risk intelligently often gain access to opportunities that others never pursue due to fear. This does not mean taking reckless chances. It means learning how to think strategically. It means studying possibilities carefully. And it means understanding that avoiding all risk can sometimes be more dangerous than taking calculated risks. Many people remain trapped in situations they dislike because uncertainty feels uncomfortable. But growth frequently exists on the other side of uncertainty. The key is not eliminating risk completely. The key is learning how to manage it wisely. Another important characteristic of wealthy thinking is the ability to focus on long-term outcomes rather than short-term emotions. Because emotional decisions often create temporary satisfaction while strategic decisions create lasting results that continue benefiting a person for years or even decades into the future. The market goes up and down. Circumstances change. Trends come and go. But disciplined individuals remain focused on their larger vision. They do not panic during temporary setbacks. They do not abandon plans every time conditions become difficult. And they do not allow fear or excitement to control major financial decisions. This emotional stability becomes a competitive advantage because consistency often outperforms emotional reaction over time. Many people believe wealth is only about money. But truly successful individuals often understand that wealth includes freedom, options, relationships, health, knowledge, and peace of mind. Because money without balance can still produce an unsatisfying life if other important areas are neglected continuously. Financial success should support life rather than replace it. Wealth should create opportunities rather than become an obsession. This perspective prevents people from sacrificing everything important in pursuit of a number. The most fulfilled individuals often understand that money is a tool. It is important. It creates possibilities. But it is most powerful when used in service of a meaningful and balanced life, rather than as the sole definition of success. Another reason many people struggle financially is because they underestimate the power of compounding. Because small, consistent actions rarely appear dramatic in the beginning but eventually produce results that seem extraordinary once enough time has passed. Saving a little money consistently may not feel exciting. Learning a new skill every day may not feel life-changing immediately. Improving habits gradually may seem insignificant. But over time, these small actions accumulate. They build momentum. And they create outcomes far greater than most people imagine possible. Wealth builders trust this process. They understand that success often grows quietly before it becomes visible. This patience allows them to continue moving forward while others give up too soon. Successful people also understand the importance of protecting what they build. Because creating wealth is only part of the equation, while preserving wealth requires discipline, awareness, and responsible decision-making over long periods of time. Many individuals focus entirely on earning more while neglecting risk management. They ignore financial planning. They fail to prepare for uncertainty. And they assume good times will continue forever. But experienced wealth builders understand that protecting gains is just as important as creating them. They think strategically. They prepare for setbacks, and they make decisions with sustainability in mind, rather than relying entirely on optimism or short-term success. Another principle of billionaire thinking is understanding that opportunities often appear disguised as hard work, responsibility, and problems that need solving. Because most valuable opportunities require effort before rewards become visible. Many people want opportunity to arrive conveniently. They want success to feel easy. But reality often works differently. Opportunities frequently hide inside challenges. They exist within unmet needs. They appear where others are unwilling to put in the effort required. This is why successful individuals pay attention to problems. Instead of avoiding them, they look for ways to create solutions. And those solutions often become the foundation of businesses, careers, investments, and wealth creation over time. The people who achieve extraordinary results are often not the smartest people in every room, but they are usually among the most persistent. Because persistence allows individuals to continue learning, adapting, improving, and moving forward long after others have abandoned their goals due to frustration, setbacks, criticism, or temporary failure. Persistence compounds. It creates experience. It creates resilience. And it creates opportunities because people who remain in the game longer often position themselves to benefit when circumstances improve. Success frequently belongs to those who continue showing up when progress feels slow and rewards seem distant. This quality becomes especially valuable because most people quit before their efforts have enough time to produce meaningful results. The journey toward financial success ultimately begins with mastering yourself. Because money tends to amplify existing habits rather than magically transform them. And the discipline, patience, responsibility, and self-control required to build wealth are often the same qualities required to build a successful life overall. The person who learns how to manage small amounts wisely becomes more prepared to manage larger amounts. The person who develops discipline in everyday decisions becomes more capable of handling greater opportunities. And the person who learns how to think long-term while living responsibly in the present develops a foundation strong enough to support lasting success. This is where real wealth begins, not in the wallet, but in the character of the individual building it. Part 4. The Billionaire Philosophy for a Lifetime of Success. The greatest advantage of thinking like a billionaire while acting like you're broke is that it protects you from one of the most dangerous traps in life, which is becoming comfortable too early, because the moment people believe they have arrived, they often stop learning, stop growing, stop improving, and slowly begin losing the very qualities that helped them succeed in the first place. Growth requires humility. Success requires adaptation. And long-term achievement requires the willingness to remain a student even after experiencing significant victories. Many people fail not because they never succeed, but because they stop evolving once success appears. The most accomplished individuals understand that every achievement is simply another starting point for continued growth and improvement rather than a final destination where learning ends completely. One of the most valuable lessons from highly successful people is the understanding that confidence should come from competence rather than appearance. Because true confidence is built through knowledge, skill, preparation, and experience, while false confidence often depends on external symbols, social validation, or temporary achievements that can disappear unexpectedly. People who build lasting success focus on becoming stronger rather than simply looking successful. They invest in skills, they invest in education, and they invest in personal growth because they know these assets cannot be taken away easily. Luxury items may impress strangers briefly, but competence creates opportunities repeatedly. The more capable you become, the more valuable you become. And the more valuable you become, the more opportunities naturally begin appearing throughout your life and career. Another principle of Billionaire thinking is understanding that every decision carries an opportunity cost. Because whenever you say yes to one thing, you are automatically saying no to something else, whether you realize it or not. Every hour spent on distraction is an hour not spent building. Every unnecessary purchase is money that cannot be invested elsewhere. Every negative habit consumes energy that could have been directed toward growth. Successful individuals become highly aware of these trade-offs. They do not evaluate decisions only based on immediate benefits. They also consider what they might be sacrificing in the future. This awareness creates better choices because it encourages long-term thinking instead of impulsive behavior, driven by temporary emotion. Many wealthy individuals also develop an unusual relationship with failure because they stop viewing mistakes as evidence of personal inadequacy and start viewing them as information that can improve future decisions and strategies. Most people fear failure so much that they avoid opportunities entirely. They avoid risk. They avoid growth. And they remain trapped inside familiar environments because failure feels threatening to their identity. But successful people often interpret failure differently. They study it. They learn from it. And they use it to refine their approach. This mindset creates resilience because setbacks become lessons rather than permanent barriers. Over time, this ability to learn from mistakes becomes one of the most valuable assets a person can possess. Another critical lesson is understanding that wealth creation often depends more on consistency than intensity. Because extraordinary results are frequently built through small disciplined actions repeated over many years, rather than occasional bursts of effort followed by long periods of inactivity. Consistency creates momentum. It creates trust. And it creates compounding effects that eventually become impossible to ignore. Many people become excited briefly and then lose focus. But individuals who continue showing up every day, even when progress feels slow, often achieve results far beyond those who rely entirely on motivation. The power of consistency is that it continues working even when emotions change. And emotions always change eventually. Thinking like a billionaire also means recognizing that your network influences your future. Because the people you spend time with affect your standards, beliefs, habits, ambitions, and overall direction more than most individuals realize. Conversations shape thinking. Environments shape behavior. And relationships shape opportunities. This is why successful individuals are intentional about the people they surround themselves with. They seek growth-oriented relationships. They learn from experienced individuals. And they avoid environments that consistently encourage negativity, complacency, or destructive habits. Over time, these choices create powerful advantages because human beings naturally adapt to the expectations and standards of the environments they inhabit regularly. Another powerful lesson is learning how to remain grateful while staying ambitious. Because some people lose their hunger for growth once they become comfortable, while others become so obsessed with achievement that they forget how to appreciate what they already have. The healthiest balance exists between gratitude and ambition. Gratitude allows you to enjoy the present. Ambition encourages you to improve the future. Together, they create emotional stability because you can appreciate your progress without becoming complacent, and pursue new goals without becoming chronically dissatisfied. This balance protects mental well-being while still supporting continued growth and achievement over time. Many people assume billionaire thinking is primarily about money. But at its deepest level, it is actually about responsibility. Because significant success requires individuals to manage resources, opportunities, relationships, challenges, and decisions effectively over long periods of time. Money is only one resource. Time is another. Energy is another. Attention is another. Successful people become skilled at managing all of them. They understand that poor use of time can be just as costly as poor use of money. And they recognize that attention directed toward the wrong priorities can limit progress regardless of income or opportunity. This broader perspective transforms the way people approach life itself. The individuals who create extraordinary lives often understand that freedom is the ultimate goal rather than wealth alone. Because wealth without freedom can still feel restrictive, while freedom creates the ability to choose how you spend your time, where you focus your energy, and what kind of life you ultimately build for yourself and the people you care about. Financial freedom creates options. Emotional freedom creates peace. And personal freedom creates fulfillment. This is why the smartest wealth builders focus on creating flexibility rather than simply accumulating possessions. They understand that the true value of money lies in the choices it makes possible rather than the things it can purchase immediately. Thank you for listening to FREMA Audiobooks and spending this time exploring the mindset, discipline, and principles behind lasting success and wealth creation. Always remember that thinking like a billionaire is not about acting superior to others or chasing status endlessly, but about developing long-term vision, emotional discipline, financial awareness, and personal responsibility while remaining humble enough to keep learning, improving, and growing every step of the way. If this audiobook inspired you, make sure to subscribe to FREMA Audiobooks, like this video, share it with someone who wants to build a stronger future, and leave a comment below about the lesson that impacted you most, because your support helps these ideas reach more people who are committed to creating wealth, freedom, and meaningful success in their lives.